think the thing we most need to talk about is Israel. I think we got to get into that before we talk about anything else. Have you been keeping up with it any at all?
Yeah, but I'm a little bit ignorant on it, so go ahead.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that most people are familiar, or at least a little bit of what's going on.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to, I'm sure there's plenty of videos out there of people covering the exact details of what's currently going on. But I think what we probably need to talk about the most is kind of the backstory a little bit so that people understand, because too often, kind of how, you and I have talked about in the past, whenever there's a shooting, for example, like a police officer shoots someone.
Yeah.
Automatically, especially if that cop is white and the person that they shot is black, automatically you're going to have people taking sides before any details come out.
Yep.
And I hate when that happens, because until you know actually the story of what happened, you really shouldn't pick sides like that. And I feel like that's going on a lot right now with Israel and Palestine, where it seems like if you consider yourself a Republican or a conservative, then you feel like you have to support Israel.
Mm-hmm.
If you consider yourself a liberal Democrat, then you have to support Hamas and Hezbollah and Palestine, and now Iran also. And I want to maybe address some of these things so that people don't feel like they have to just, because my team says this side's the right one, that they have to deal with
Before
that.
you do, can you give, because I don't know if we talked about this much on the first episode, can you give people, without going into too much detail, because I know you probably don't want to, can you give them a little bit of your background and why you're qualified to speak on it a little bit?
All right. Well, I mean,
because I believe you are. I believe you are, because you've traveled the world and done different things, obviously, compared to me. So, just go over a little bit of your history and why you should be able to speak on it. I think people love to hear it.
My whole life, I grew up in the church. I grew up Church of Christ, Southern. If anybody's not familiar with it, it's a pretty common Protestant denomination of Christianity in the South, in the Southeast, especially in the Bible Belt. And it's, compared to a lot of other religions, it's a pretty conservative version of Christianity. And that's what I grew up around. And I was in church anytime the doors were open, pretty much Sunday mornings, Sunday nights, Wednesday nights. If we went on vacation somewhere, this is pre-internet days, my parents would talk to other people in the church to find out, hey, if we were going to go to Gulf Shores, Alabama, do you know somebody in that area? There's a church we can go to or whatever, because my parents were always going to take us to church no matter what. And I went to a Christian elementary school, Christian junior high and high school, and I went to a Christian university in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been around the Bible my entire life. I'm not in any way saying that I am an expert on the Bible, or that I'm in any way qualified to tell people how they should or should not live their lives. But as far as what is actually in the book and what is taught to people in Protestant denominations, I'm pretty familiar with a lot of it. And as an extent of that, in schools, I have learned, for example, in college, one of the classes that I took was cultural, it was religions based on the cultures is basically what it was. And it covered, I forgot the name of the class, but it covered basically Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and Buddhism. A little bit of Hindu was talked about, but those were the main ones. And so I've been exposed to a lot of it. When I was in the Marines, I spent over a year in Iraq. I was in Iraq in 2005 and in 2006, a total of 13 months. And I spent a lot of time, I was on a 10-man team that lived with the Iraqi army. So I got to speak with them. It wasn't just like I was stationed over in Iraq and saw some people that were Arab. No, I lived with these people. I ate with them. I talked to them on a regular basis. A lot of them spoke, broken English, but we had interpreters. And one of the things that I'll get into when we're talking about Israel is I got a firsthand perspective from these guys about some of the issues with Islam and Judaism. So I've had firsthand experience with that. I haven't been to Israel, but I've spoken with a lot of people who consider themselves to be devout Jews. different versions of Judaism. There's more Orthodox, the people who believe more in the that your lifestyle, your dress, and everything should reflect your religious standpoints. And then other people like someone like Ben Shapiro, who you may not know it that he's even Jewish until you start to actually talk to him about things, you know. But yeah, that, and then just my love for history and studying history and politics. That's what I studied in college, was history and political science. Just a study of all of that. As I guess, again, I don't know that necessarily makes me qualified to talk about it, but I definitely, I think I have enough knowledge on it to notice when people are talking about things that they don't know about.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. If you want to see more clips like this, just check out right here. Also, if you want to follow the full podcast, make sure you check the link in the description below. Thank you all again, and I will catch you on the next video.